Yo, 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 what up, everybody? That's right, it's Hump Day. We're going to get into it. I hope everybody had a happy Christmas, Merry Christmas. We'll get into it right after this.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it? Guess what day it is? Mike. What day is it, Mike? What day is it, Mike? What day? Uh-oh.
It's Hump Day.
Hump Day! Hump Day! Huh? Anybody?
It's Hump Day.
What up, Johnny? We got Johnny NFL in the building. How you doing, Johnny? Can you hear me? I think he's frozen. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Mike, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Sorry, I had to go on my phone here. I got some computer issues going, so
Oh, no worries.
it might be a little choppy. Sound might suck. But how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How was your Christmas?
Good, not too bad. Pretty quiet, so that's good. How about you?
It was good. I got one of the best Christmas presents ever. My wife got me a case to put in all my jerseys from my playing days. So I was able to put in, yeah, I love it.
My wife painted this on the wall here
Oh, hell yeah. Goal.
where the studio's gonna go. So yeah.
Hey, we got
Yeah,
Skull
man.
Mafia in the building. What up, Skull Mafia?
Mafia, what's up, bro?
We got Cody in the building. Oh, we got Minnesota Sports Talk with Al Smith in the building.
I gotta turn my we're doing, fellas.
So how you
Christmas
feeling
was
about
ruined.
the season so far?
I mean, it's you thought last season was a roller coaster, right? But I mean, this was just lower lows, obviously, and then just crazier stuff as far as like the injuries go. Down to, I mean, the four quarterbacks is wild. It feels like it's a step forward and two steps back like every few weeks.
Right.
So it's it's a lot of just face the same thing over and over again. As far as like the little bit of hope and then rug pulled out. So it's sucked, but I've kind of I've detached myself a little bit the last like couple weeks, so I'm okay now. It really sucked a couple weeks back, but
Yeah. So Cody says put in Hall. I'm with Cody.
yeah,
I think at this point I'm like put in Scene, put in Hall, put in Aswa, put in everybody we need to evaluate for next year to see if they're even worth keeping on the team. Jalen Naylor, put him in. Put them all in.
I think that's probably what the second Lions game looks like if we lose this week. I think this week there's a lot of pride going on. I think we probably see Mullins again. That's probably where they feel comfortable. O'Connell probably feels like he can have more control when it's Mullins because he can use his whole playbook and
Right.
just, I mean, I'm sure Hall has a great grasp of it too, but he seems confident in Mullins' like timing. It's just he like messed it up a few times. So I think you see them kind of do that same strategy they ended up on after the bye week and everything. As far as all that goes, and you make one more push, try to beat the Packers. That's a huge thing too. I think you're putting your. But I mean, after that, for sure, and I think it probably you probably should have went back to. I mean, I don't know. It's tough week to week, but I felt like you maybe should have even went back to Hall right away once he was cleared from concussion protocol,
Right.
and then just kind of see how that goes. But the Dobbs mania was unavoidable. So
Yeah,
I guess
exactly.
it's
Hey,
it's it's whatever. At
we got
this
a
point.
couple
It's
more
whatever.
shout outs. We got Two
Yep.
Tone Tony in the building. What up, Two Tone?
What's up? I
We
think
got
I think
George
Hall gets
Blunt
at
in the
least.
building.
I think Hall plays at least another quarter or two, one way or the other.
Right.
Like unless you beat Green Bay and you come out and you smack Detroit again and it's all Mullins, which doesn't seem super likely. Like I think you see either you lose to Green Bay and then you see either Hall start or Hall get mixed in, or you sneak out of that one and then Detroit stomps you for 3 quarters and you throw Hall in for the fourth or something. Like I think you see him again,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It'd be nice to get a couple more full games to see what he's like before we go into the draft, just as fans, honestly. Because we just saw like the one drive, so it's gonna be weird to be like, that one drive was really nice, like a couple good things, but that's all we really saw. So it's gonna be really weird discourse. I feel
I
like
tell
leading
you
up to
what, the
quarterback.
only good thing about that loss on Sunday is we moved up 5 drafts.
Yep, everything else was bad.
Everything else. And I tell you what, the saddest thing is when we were driving down the ball to see Carl Eller stand up because he has problems standing, stand up, walk down to the stairs, get right by the glass, cheering, and just to see the look on his face when that last interception was thrown,
hmm
it man, it just ripped the heart. Just see his
It's
joy
yeah.
go from that to just
Well, to go
back
like,
those feet.
and we're so conditioned, I think, from last year too. Like when Jefferson made the 3rd and 27 catch, I was close to being like, well, game's done. I think I'm gonna take my shower, make lunch. We're gonna win. JJ makes that catch. You're like, oh, magic's going on.
Yep.
Let's go. And then, and you forget it's just it's Nick Mullins, and in I think that he said something in an interview where he was like, I thought either I could lead him a little bit or I can try and put it right on him. And I tried to put it right on him. And I think it was just that, like, so much adrenaline kicking for him. He probably just was squeezing the hell out of that ball and quacked it over there. So I don't know. But so that part of it was like, oh, like I was laughing so hard when Jefferson made that catch because I was like, oh, it's going to happen. We're about to beat Detroit. We're about to beat Green Bay, beat Detroit again. Like it doesn't matter who's in there. Throw it to Jefferson.
Yeah.
And he tried, Mullins, he tried to force it to Jefferson. Like the throws were terrible, but the decisions were right,
Let's see. Minnesota Sports Talk with Al Smith says, I think if Hall takes us past the divisional game, he's their guy.
Yes. Yeah, and yeah, I could see him starting. I'd like to see him. I think they go Mullins just this week anyway.
Right.
But 100% though. Like even if you win the one playoff game with Hall, I think it'd be tough to go away from him unless like at least to like use the 2-3 first round picks to move up to go get your quarterback. You might not do that if you see Hall making some noise. Like it's tough to invest a ton there.
Right.
Because if he looks anything like that one drive, like because he looked on time, he looked really poised. I don't know. I mean, he's super smart, obviously. I'd like to see him, so I'm with you there. But who else thinks that Hall should have came back after concussion protocol, even without like I know hindsight's 2020, but just in the context of like, all right, you drafted the rookie. Dobbs is brand new. The guy's been through a training camp, knows the playbook, yada yada. Was like scouted and picked out by the team. With that context, do you think it like even at that time with all the hype kind of made sense to go back to him, or even Mullins was still on IR, but like he was the most, I guess, like he seemed like the most capable at the time.
Right.
You know,
I was
even
surprised they didn't go with Hall instead of Mullen.
yeah,
You know what I mean? He went out because of concussion. Dobbs shat the bed. I was surprised they didn't go with Hall instead of Mullen. And Skull's state of mind feels the same way.
Okay. Yeah, because it just like even just from like just the way teams usually operate, it kind of made a little more sense than going to get a guy to plug and play at quarterback. Even though, I mean, he looked good, like he was doing some good things, but a lot of it was like not super it didn't seem sustainable at the time. As fun as it was, everybody knew it was sustainable.
I mean, everybody
was
was excited just to see a quarterback on the Vikings.
Yeah, we were
run
like,
with their legs.
More of that. Yeah.
It was like, oh, 3 interceptions, fumble, but
Yeah, no, I don't know, but the defense is still super fun. It was a little less consistent, but at the same time, like I don't know. I mean, it's not going to always function, and we started losing guys on defense too, down to injury with Wanham.
Yeah.
Like the injuries are crazy. Did you see the thing that I might have seen this in our WhatsApp, honestly, but that Hawkinson had the ACL MCL 12 years to the day that AP did?
Oh wow,
that same injury.
That's crazy,
isn't it? Yeah, dude.
Yeah, the injuries have been full. I mean,
Crazy.
Seen,
Yep.
Taylor, Cousin, Madison, TJ Hawkinson, O'Neal is.
And I tweeted something like we still probably should have beaten Detroit if we didn't shoot ourselves in the foot. I said they're lucky we weren't even close to full strength. Like they would have been in some trouble if we were even close. Like, I mean, you could have all of the other injuries take place. Hawkinson, O'Neal, like you mentioned, Wanham, whatever. If just Kirk was healthy for that game,
oh yeah,
he might have thrown 1 or 2 of those picks, sure, but I don't think he's throwing that last one. Like the super overthrow on that go ball, and then he's not throwing that quacker towards the goal line either. Maybe the other 2, I could see him underthrowing Addison on that first one kind of thing, but just a couple fewer injuries. We were right there in that game, super, super shorthanded. Yeah, exactly. And then they're doing the skull chant. Like, yeah, yuck it up, fellas. You really deserve that one. What an emphatic win against a team that's totally at full strength.
Right.
And defending division champs that had you on the ropes. So I don't know. That should bug me.
So right now we're sitting at what, 7-8?
7-8.
Panthers eliminated, Cardinals eliminated, Commanders eliminated, Giants eliminated. 49ers, Eagles, Lions, Cowboys, and the winner of the NFC South are all locked in. So basically, we're fighting for the 6th or the 7th. Right now, we're sitting at the 8th. We share a record with the Falcons, Green Bay, and the Saints. So the games that scare me is Atlanta is playing the Bears. So if basically we got to win. If we want to be even in the conversation, we got to win. But
Yep.
I think
It was
Atlanta,
something like if we win out, it's like a 92% chance, 90 something percent chance we make it.
yeah,
But
I think we
we'll
might
need a little help
still
either way.
need some help.
Yep, for sure. We'll need a couple things that go our way that are like sort of likely to, I guess, but we shouldn't even be sweating at this point. You should have
We got
pulled out at
Gary in the
least
building.
with those last four. What's up, Gary? Man,
Now, I want to get your take on this. For me, I mean, of course, as Vikings fans, we want our team to win. But now I'm at the point. Is it working? I mean, it's hard to say it, but I'm just honest.
Mhm.
Even if we were to make the playoffs, with TJ being out, I mean, I just don't see where we gather the points, and I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, but we could keep the Packers from making the playoffs, and that'd be fun. And they kind of want to with that Jordan Love era starting, and they won't shut up about it if they make it.
Okay, my
And
question for you.
that'd be fun to knock them out. What?
My question for you and the people in the chat: would you rather beat the Packers or move up 5 more spots in the draft to get a quarterback of the future?
I would rather beat the Packers than drink water this weekend.
So a lot of beer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there you go. I'd rather beat the Packers than do a lot of things that are more important than beating the Packers. If that makes
Gold
sense.
TYA says beat the Packers. Cody
Yeah.
says 5 more spaces. George Blunt says never too high, never too low. Barber says beat the Packers. Gary says, Yogi, that's not fair, bro. Two Tone says beat the Packers. Oh, wow. All right.
What is
Nasir
that?
says beat the Packers.
5-3.
George says I don't care. Sarah says beat the
Whackers.
Whackers.
I
Love
like
says I want a draft pick, but fuck the Packers.
Yeah, dude. That's what I mean. And too, like, I don't know. If we lose to the Packers and then there's still a way to like screw the Lions out of playoff seeding, I'd still kind of want to beat the Lions the last week. Anything to just because and then we're gonna have a whole summer on Twitter where we've been swept by the Lions or we've let the Packers walk over us into the playoffs. So that's what I worry about. And I'll like the draft pick or the draft space, but like that's another kind of added layer to it, just on top of like the screw the Packers.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's plenty of people aren't on Twitter as much, so they might have an easier time avoiding all that. But I don't know if I could bear it because it was pretty insufferable. Like when we were 0-3, I was already just like, all right, I'm not going on this app for a while.
All right, so let's take a look. So right now the Rams are in the 6th seed and the Seahawks are in the 7th seed. Let's take a look at the Rams. So the Rams this Sunday are playing the New York Giants. So I would assume that's going to be a win for them.
Looking like it. Tommy DeVito benched.
Yeah. And now the Rams on the last game of the season, depending on how many starters the 49ers play, because they're already locked in. So the Rams play the 49ers week 18. So they might get a win out of that game, depending on if Shanahan wants to rest his starters.
Yeah.
Now, let's look at the Seahawks. The Seahawks, last game, week 18, play Arizona. And week 17, the Seahawks play. Who you guys play? Where you at? Pittsburgh. So,
And they're both 8-7.
they're
No.
both 8-7.
Okay. And that Steelers game's going to be tough. And then you might have for the Rams, you might have San Francisco still playing for home field advantage week 18 if the Eagles win their next. Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
We must have some type of tiebreaker against those two, because someone said after this last loss, if we won out, it was 90-something% chance of making the playoffs. And it must mean if one of those teams loses, we have a tiebreaker over them.
Yeah. I'm wondering if it's division record.
Maybe, yeah, because that would sway it. Our two division wins at the end would sway it.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
It's gonna be tough. Yeah, and at this point, like I said, I've detached myself a little bit from the situation to where it's like I was married to the idea of the playoffs 2 weeks ago. Now it's like, all right, you know what? If this is what we're doing, whatever happens, happens. And it's the team's probably not going to go far either way. But I don't know. A little Mullins, Keenum, throw it to Jefferson playoff run would be kind of fun. But at the same time, a little better draft pick. Less stress for the rest of the season. That's fine too.
Yeah.
You guys won. You beat me. I'm done caring too much about this season. It's just whatever at this point. Everyone's hurt and everyone sucks and everyone fumbles, and so that's where we're at.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Hopefully Josh Metellus makes the Pro Bowl. That's kind of my big thing I've decided to focus on. So there's some little victories to be had here yet.
Yeah, did Pace get any Pro Bowl?
Hopefully. I haven't seen any anything released about it since they closed the ballot.
Oh, okay.
But hopefully, I don't know. Him, Metellus would be cool. I could see Daniil making it, obviously, but hopefully some guys make the Pro Bowl that deserve it and heal well from all the injuries they got. I don't know if TJ is going to be ready week 1, but
right.
Hopefully it's close to it.
Now, speaking of Hunter, is that a player you would want back?
Oh yeah. 4 years, 90 something in new money, I'd say. I'd hope you don't have to reset the edge market for him. I hope he's not. I hope that's not the headspace he's in. Maybe he is, but no. I think you try to bring him back. I think you should have a ceiling when you go into that negotiation. But yeah, maybe 24 million a year. He shouldn't be getting the Bosa money or the Watt money, I don't think, but probably right below that. And I think you pay him that. He's there's a weird injury prone perception for some people with him, especially non-Vikings fans sometimes too. But he really only had a couple freak injuries and then really minor stuff. He's been extremely productive when he's healthy, and he's been mostly healthy, and especially the last couple of years. Like he's, I think you prioritize extending him, but it's not a blank check. I don't think. Like I've seen people say that. It's like, well, let's.
So Von Joyner says the only way we keep Hunter is if we keep Flo. So
Do you think that's like? Do you mean that as like you think Hunter wants to stay with Flo, or if Flo walks, it doesn't matter if we keep him or not? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
because I can kind of see what you're saying either way. I suppose I really, really selfishly, I suppose, hope that Flo stays one more year, just because like maybe he just doesn't like the head coaching jobs that are out there. Maybe it's just like similar to this last cycle. I don't know. I hope the owners aren't still like sour on him for that that lawsuit and stuff. But I don't know. It seems like he knows Kevin O'Connell. Like they seem like they get along pretty well. Maybe he wouldn't mind doing the Spagnuolo thing, doing the coordinator who probably could be a head coach, but just is comfortable calling the defense and probably making similar money.
right.
I don't know. So maybe just one more year of that would be incredible. But either way, like I think a top tier edge rusher is something you pay a pretty penny for. Yeah. Oh yeah. Get them, Sarah. That's what I'm saying. And then these fans, they come crawling out and they're doing the skull chant in the end zone, and that's when I got pretty mad because it was like we had all of the momentum back despite all the turnovers, despite everything else. Yeah, he should be, but that was kind of the case last year too. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's like. I mean, it's leaning that way for sure. I don't think it's like 100% though, because it's just weird. Like his situation's weirder than most stud coordinators. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't. I mean, Ben Johnson's got to be gone, right? From Detroit. Most of the time, the like the Super Bowl winner and losers coordinators are gone. It's just like a weird little situation because he has the the lawsuit thing. The owners is like can be a weird little fraternity. I don't know. There's like he probably should have had a job this last year too, and I think too he seems to be a guy who's in a place where if he doesn't like the fit, he's probably not going to just jump to a head coaching job because of like the status of it or like just to be a head coach. He's been a head coach. It's not even like a up and coming coordinator getting poached and kind of taking his big shot. I think he'll be picky, so that might work in our favor. You know what I mean? I think there's a chance. That's me being hopeful. I've taken my hope out of the team having success on the field this season and put it into him staying.
It's going to be a crazy offseason. I mean, there's good. Oh my God. I mean, what piece do you think for the Vikings, if you were to guess, what domino would you think would start everything in motion? Whether it be re-signing Kirk Cousins,
just like
what's your educated guess of something that just might shock that you think is going to happen that people aren't expecting?
As far as like what'll actually kind of have an impact on how the rest of the signings fall into place, that's a super interesting question. I feel like the first couple signings are just going to be random low-level re-signings, just like a little extension here and there. And I feel like once we get to the big time news, I think it's kind of going to hinge on. I mean, it's weird because I think it's either going to be Jefferson or Kirk, but I think what probably comes out first is one of the like a Daniil Hunter, one way or the other. I think if he's not coming back here right away, he's probably like right off the market. You know what I mean? Like I think he's the guy. Like it's obviously Jefferson is just going to be getting that extension talk.
Right.
But Kirk, I don't think will have the kind of suitors that Daniil Hunter might. I don't know what everybody's cap situation looks like necessarily. I know people are going to have some room, but that's where I think that decision will have to happen quickly, just because I think his market's going to be really hot. So like if he stays, I think we'll hear about it pretty quickly into like the free agency cycle. But you know he could be, I mean, getting a lot of phone calls. So that's the only reason I think that. I don't think it'll necessarily set the tone as much for what else happens. Like I think in their head they kind of have like the math mapped out of like if we retain Daniil, Kirk, and JJ, here's what that looks like next to the Hawkinson extension and all the projected cap and everything. They probably know what that looks like if it works out. You know what I mean? And that's probably what they're going to try to do. It's probably all three of those things. You'd think they're leaning towards wanting to do. It's just going to be like what their numbers at. But I think Daniil goes first, and then I don't know if the Jefferson extension is that much like. I don't think he's not going to extend if Kirk doesn't get extended. You know what I mean? Like I think that stuff's overblown. I think he'd like him back. So I don't think those two things are as tied to each other as sometimes it's painted to be. So I don't think those are too interconnected, but I think, you hear about Daniil and then it's probably Kirk pretty shortly thereafter, because they're going to come back to the negotiation table, I guess, after this season, kind of what they said. So maybe, and they might have an agreement right away. They might just not announce it right away. They might be weird about that, but I think you've got to put your chips in the middle with Daniil right away.
Oh, yeah. Hey, everybody, at 9:30, tune into the Vintage because Tony Bell will be starting off the show with the B-Flow KOC information. So after this show, be sure to tune into the Vintage because Tony Bell will start that show off with a little deet, 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 deet. Rumor report. But yeah, I mean, so if you were the GM, are you taking a quarterback first round next year? And if so, what quarterbacks do you like?
The way it looks right now, I was actually just talking about this with with a friend of mine. So I'd love to do the whole. I've always been pretty pro. Hey, if O'Connell and the KOC, rest of the scouting team, front office, whatever, identifies a quarterback they like, I'm all for do whatever it takes to go get him. I'm all for the Trey Lance trade up as well as that worked out. But the three first, whatever. If you like Drake May, let's do that. Give him, trade up with whatever you need to do. I'm all for that. But what might be a little bit more realistic, and it's another kind of one of those like toe the line kind of moves that the Vikings lean towards. But I think what might be a little more likely or realistic, and what I think makes a lot of sense too, is a short-term, reasonable number Kirk Cousins extension. And I would love to take Jaden Daniels out of LSU, which you might, he might be QB4 off the board, maybe. Like, you never know who teams are going to favor. Might be a little bit easier to trade up for, and might be a kid a little bit easier to sit for a year. and kind of gear up. But I think he's probably my favorite of that like group right after Williams and May. You're a Daniels guy? Oh, okay. Okay. Purple and gold all the way through, huh?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude, I think that would be nice. And then, him and Jefferson can go do their go Tigers stuff all the time and hang
Oh yeah.
out, buddies. Immediate rapport.
So option number one, get Jaden Daniels in the first round by all means necessary. That's me. Option number two, if they re-sign Kirk Cousins, I can see this happening to where we go edge rusher, or defensive interior in the first round. But in the fourth round, pick up a guy like Jordan Travis from FSU.
Oh yeah.
Even though he broke his leg,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he would have time to sit behind Kirk Cousins for a year or two and learn.
Yeah, I wonder where he would go, because Hooker went third round, right? And then Hooker was like 80s. Yeah, I mean that's a day, late day 2, early day 3, I think, with that injury. I like that too, because I like him.
Yeah.
He was nice, and that would be a perfect, because this is what we were talking about with like with like DTR. Like that was a lot of the DTR hype without the injury. Or like that was the Hendon Hooker sell kind of for everybody who liked him in the draft. And that's kind of what the Lions did. They're like, we got Goff. Maybe Hooker's kind of good when he gets back. I would like that too.
Oh God, are we drafting right now? I forgot where I was.
Yeah, me and Yogi.
That's because I've been mock drafting since like October.
Where we're at. I've been seeing these mock drafts from Yogi for months.
But
Dude,
yeah, I'm excited.
I am too, and I think they're like, it's so weird too, because it seemed like we had the Kirk Cousins arc kind of figured out, right? Like it was like, all right, like if they win like a playoff game or two, or like a lot of people, it was like if they get to the NFC Championship game, yada yada, then you talk about re-signing Kirk. But if they don't do anything in the playoffs, then he's done. Mutually part ways. That makes sense. Now it's neither of those things. It's like a whole new situation, and you're like, does this mean you like are more likely to re-sign him or less likely with the injury? Because you saw what the team was like with like these whoever quarterbacks, but then he's also coming back from an injury. He's gonna be older. Like it's a completely like no one was thinking ahead for this scenario. So it's really weird now. So I'm curious more than anything what happens with Kirk, because now it's such like a weird situation, because it's all anybody talked about, was like, it depends on how far we get with Kirk, or what he does this year, and it was just incomplete. So it's like, what does the front office think now?
And the funny thing is, so the availability of Kirk Cousins was so great, like he never missed to where
the whole
to
thing.
where you could have two people on the spectrum. You had the Kirk stands, the Kirk haters, to where there was always that bumping of heads because he was always available.
Mm-hmm.
Now that he's not even available, it's more of a, oh, they're still bumping heads, but see what happens when we don't have Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
Then on the other hand, is people are saying now is the perfect time to just rip the Band-Aid and move on. So yeah,
it's just it's a slightly different discussion now. Yeah, exactly. It's got new angles. It's weird, but I don't know. And then, there's these Jefferson comments too. I don't know if you saw those today. He said something to the effect of, I don't know if the interview was actually from today. It might have been last night, but something to the effect of, I'm not. They asked him if he was going to advocate to the front office for them to re-sign Kirk, and he said, "I'm not going to, or I don't, I don't feel like I should need to tell them to re-sign him, but I'm gonna anyways," or something like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah. He was like, yeah, you guys asked me about Kirk a lot, and he was like, and yeah, people try to discredit him a lot. I'm the guy who's always going to give him his credit. It was, I don't know, yeah, I don't know if anybody else saw it, but it was an interesting little thing. I mean, it was like a lot of it is just kind of like what you say, but there were a few things he said in there where I was like, like it's kind of interesting. He like
Even
actually
put
like
that
came
out
out
there.
and said that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, because you know how like the media game works, the way the way they say stuff, the way they slip stuff in to put pressure on other teams or the front office or whatever. Um, so I don't know. I thought that was interesting too. I'm just curious because we still don't really know like how Quasey does necessarily.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen a couple drafts or whatever, and we know he just he likes trading, and we know he's analytical or whatever, but we still haven't seen him like do much building of a team necessarily. We haven't seen the players pan out. We haven't seen him pick out a franchise quarterback. So I don't know. Like I'm just curious to see how they navigate this process because it's a really weird situation to be in charge of. Don't envy it.
Right. Now I tell you what, I'm mentally preparing for him to bring back Kirk Cousins, but I sure shit hope it's not a deal with the no trade clause.
Feels likely. I hope that too, and I hope it's. I hope it's like people say that people are saying like there's no way he'd take this or something like this. I think he would do like a 2 years 60 because he's seeing another 28
Yeah.
that we have in dead money that's gonna roll over. So I don't know why he would like. He's fine. He's made a lot of money. Um, he should know where he's negotiating from. He's always negotiated from a place of, hey, I'm gonna Wolverine. I'm not gonna miss a game. I haven't missed any games. I haven't missed any time to this point. He hadn't missed a start because of injury. He'd only sat like, week 18 games. But now he doesn't have that. Like I feel like that was one of his big.
Sarah says Atlanta wants Kirk, so does a lot of other teams.
Well, I'm sure they do, but like I don't think he's gonna give a shit about an extra $10 million a year, $12 million a year if it means uprooting his family.
Yeah.
Honestly, at this point in his career, to play like 2 more years somewhere, maybe for that reason, it's like fine, I'll just go on the road. But he likes his Tuesdays off to go get ice cream or whatever the hell with his kids.
Yep.
Like I don't think he does it. I think he would take significantly less money to stay here. And I feel like they'd be interested in that. I'm not even saying that's like the best thing. I kind of want him to just roll the dice on a quarterback KOC likes and just let him go nuts with him. But I don't know. It feels so likely. He doesn't have much leverage, and I don't know. I don't think he's going to care much to go anywhere else. It doesn't feel like it anyway. I don't know.
I think he might want to retire a Viking.
I think he'd sooner retire early than he would like
To go somewhere else.
go somewhere else for a couple Phillip Rivers years, or like, I don't know. It just that I don't know. That's just my feeling on it. I feel like I don't see it. It just feels like the most realistic thing. Or I mean, maybe the Vikings are pretty rigid on it though, and maybe it's just not even. Maybe it's really not in his best interest. But I think he'd take a lot less to stay. It just at least that's what it seems like from all the. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like he is Philip Rivers already. That's funny as hell.
Oh. Frozen North says, of course, Kirk wants to retire a Viking. He's comfortable. Yeah.
No, I've never had the chance to be paid an extra $20 million, but like, you're all like, it's different than like driving an extra 15 minutes to work or something. Like he's got to go. He's got young kids in the whole thing. Like I've also never made previously to the offer of 20 extra $1 million, hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys saw his videos of him throwing to his son in his basement. He's got a weak ass basement set up. He's not spending much of this money, I don't think.
Oh, no.
I think he's
taking care of it.
Dude, I think he's got Roth IRAs out the wazoo. He's probably good. That's just, I don't know. That's what it's kind of guy he seems like. I mean,
So
they might even overpay him for no reason. You guys are, I mean, his neighbor shovels his snow.
So this Sunday, we're going to be New Year's Eve. Primetime game.
Ruin another holiday.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I mean, all right. I want everybody in the comments with what's been going on and the scores we've been doing. I want everybody to give a realistic score prediction for Packers versus Vikings on New Year's Eve. Let us know what you think.
Did you say a score prediction? You got to
Yeah.
chop down. Okay.
Drop them down in the chat. What do you think is going to happen, Johnny?
No Jair Alexander.
Yeah. And that's weird. I can understand. People were saying he got suspended because he went out for the coin toss when he wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, or something. He said defense out first or something when he was supposed to call offense gets the ball. Yeah, I know. and they put it under conduct detrimental to the team, I think it was, which was that's just so funny. I don't know. I hope even if we lose, well, not if we lose. I hope we win and like light them up. I hope it's like 500 yards because they're already in. They're about to mutiny over Joe Barry already. Just still having a job and whatnot. He's been pretty terrible. I hope they light him up and like just kind of fan that flame. That's been pretty funny to see. It's like the Ed Donatel shit, except
Right.
they brought him back and so their fans are still mad. So that's been pretty fun. So more than anything, I hope that. But I think they'll probably put some points up. I think it has a similar feel to the Lions game. I mean, I think you're probably playing it on a. It's probably low 30s. I'm gonna go 34-27 Vikes, but it's probably gonna be pretty ugly, to be honest. I think you're gonna see. I think we'll see Mullins again, and I think he's gonna make more mistakes. And I think the Vikings are just gonna have enough to overcome them. I don't know.
Okay, and it's
I
a
don't know.
home game. All right.
Home game. I think it's still one score, and I don't think it feels safe most of the like. But I think they pull this one out. I think it's gonna have a very similar feel to this last Lions game though, because it felt like we were like sort of in control at points, but also a turnover away from
Yeah.
behind the eight ball. So I get this going to be played on a what is it a razor's edge? Is that a phrase? Pins, needles. It's going to be close.
I think it's going to be
No home field advantage. That's damn true. No whiteout
yeah,
advantage. No throwback advantage.
28-24, and it could be either way. Either the Vikings win 28-24 or the Packers win 28-24. I think it's going to be one of those stupid
Yeah.
ass come down to the last drive game to where either Mullins is going to make that pass to JJ or not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, JJ's gonna make a ridiculous catch to give us a little hope. Yeah, no, I know and I think we'll have a huge advantage too, especially with no Jair. Like JJ should be getting open. We're not gonna we're not gonna have Hawkinson to stress him out. Maybe the run game's a little better. What was it, 36 yards or something?
Yeah.
Day. It's I don't know, but at the same, I mean, who cares? Honestly, did anyone comment that? Who cares?
Right.
Oh, probably right. There's got to be somebody. Mullins 500 yards, 5 touchdowns, 5 picks.
Hey, the link I'm about to drop in the comments is for Bite Size Sports. You'll be able to check out Johnny NFL, the rest of the that crew over there. Give everybody a little taste. I know you do Bite Size Vikes over there, but give them a little taste of everything else on that channel.
Yeah, bite-sized sports. Uh, we've got a football show. We got a basketball show on Thursday nights called The Bounce. Got a gambling show over on Bite Size Sports. We've got that's on Mondays, if I'm not mistaken. Fridays they got another damn fantasy podcast. That's just fantasy stuff, dynasty, all that. So it's 4 or 5 live shows a week over there. Bunch of other stuff going on. Partnership with Carnage TV that does a bunch of mixed martial arts and boxing.
Oh, okay.
So you can see that stuff over there. Just a lot of sports crap over there. It's a good time. We got a couple team specific podcasts, all that. So, lot of good content creators over there too.
Well, shoot. Hey, everybody. It's
Joe Barry is the
9:23.
Sorry, I was reading comments again.
It's 9:23. Be sure to head over to, it's on this channel and Skull TYA's channel for the vintage. Hey, I want to thank Johnny NFL for tapping in with me on Hump Day.
Yeah, thanks for
You
the
got any
invite.
last words for the people?
No, other than fuck the Packers, Skull Vikes, let's get the win, fuck them picks. All right, that's my last F-bomb. Skull.
Oh, hey, it's past 9:00. We
I
get
know.
crazy on my channel.
There we go. Appreciate you, Yogi.
All right, have a good night, man.
You too, brother.
Hey, thank you everybody for tapping in. Go Vikings.